Patch 10.9 notes. It's time once again. This is a little itsy bitsy patch, even tinier than the last one. Welcome to 10.9 and the last legs of the rank split. Nobody cares about rank splits. The way that the rank splits work is that you upgrade your ranked armor for every split that you play. So if you see somebody with like a sword behind their portrait, that's what it means, ranked armor. Every time that you look shit up, it's always a boosting site that actually has the information. So you know when your friend has like the wings on their thing and you're like, what? I got nothing. I'm not tricked out. That's from playing all the splits of the season, so it doesn't really change anything. And they're pretty crummy rewards. I don't think it incentivizes... Like, if you're a ranked player, you're gonna play the whole season anyway. Most people don't just say, well, I gotta get the rewards. And if you just want the border, you still get the border. So, you still get the border if you just play the last end of the season. So, I don't know. They're just trying to give people a little bit extra. I don't think that it's that important. But, yeah, rank splits. Not something that I care about. We're bringing champions like Nami and Karthhus down a peg. We're closely monitoring them for a while, and they've been standing out in their success. So we're hoping this will shuffle them back in line. We're also looking to help out our friends in the top lane who didn't benefit as much from the recent buffs with some extra padding. Okay, cool. Buff Cho, Fiddle, Gnar. Kayn got a pretty substantial buff. I played against Kayn top, and Kayn top actually did pretty good, so... You might be seeing him in lane a little bit. Lissandra, Quin. Quin got a buff. My last Quin had 10 farm. Nerfed, Bard, good. Karthhus, good. Nami, good. Trundle has been OP for a really long time, and then they brought Wukong down. But if you look at the best top laners in the game, for some reason, Wukong still is a 53% win rate character. I don't know if they did enough. I think we're going to have to nerf Wukong every patch for the next 10 patches. They said that they find that embarrassing, and they're trying to figure that out. Where's that? Mark Eater? League of Legends. He did a blog post about how they don't want to have to balance new champs. Recent champ release retrospective, blah blah blah. They're really happy with how they all came out, even though they're freaking strong. In general, these champs are released too strong, and we took too long getting them to a good balance state. This resulted in repeated and drawn-out nerfs for many of them, and them staying as dominant picks for too long. True! So now they're going to be launching with a long-term balance target, faster, stronger follow-ups. In cases where we do end up... Just gotta make sure that we don't have the game going here. In cases where we do end up with a champ or VGU that is too strong, we will try to follow up faster with a more comprehensive set of nerfs. We really do like how Set, Senna, and Aphelios... We really do not like how with Senna, Set, and Aphelios, we had to come back for nerf after nerf. If we could go back in time here, we would have bundled them together earlier. Good. So, why aren't they doing that with Wukong? They did hit him in multiple places at once, which might be what they're trying to say. I still don't think that they nerfed him hard enough if he's still 53. You probably want... one thing that they said inside of that same post is that they released them strong because people don't know how to play them. It's like you get a training wheels patch where they do extra damage so you don't have to be as good, or they're extra tanky so you don't have to be as good, which I think Riot does that for money-making purposes. Like, all the time they release new champions and they're way too strong. And they'd rather them be too strong than too weak. which is really silly. Like, new champions that have a low win rate. I guess Fiddlesticks maybe came out too weak, but after, before they even buffed him, most tier sites had him as like S or S plus tier, if you actually knew how to play him properly. So, back to the notes. This skin line, I guess, is okay. I really hate skins in League of Legends that make characters unrecognizable. Like, who the fuck is this? What makes this Gangplank? Oh, he has a sword and a gun. Okay. That's iconic Gangplank, sword and a gun. That looks just like his gun. This could be fucking Lucian. It could be anyone. This could be anyone. Is this Zed? No, it's Lee Sin. Vayne, I can tell who Vayne is. Thresh, I think you can tell who Thresh is. And Malphite looks nothing like this in game, but this is always how they draw him, so it's Malphite. But like, you shouldn't have to think when you're looking at a character. You shouldn't have to think at all. You should just automatically know who they are. And abilities too. Like, there's some stuff where, whose passive was it? Maybe it's like Lee Sin with a skin. If he has a skin, the mark indicator's different. If Darius has a skin, the mark indicator's different. It's like, what is that? What the fuck is that? I think there's a Shen skin that messes with his ult too, and you're like, what is that? You should never have to think about that though. It's just bad design. I should be able to shut them off if I play the game competitively. Bard. I never thought that these W's were really good until people started placing them under my feet, and then I was like, well, that's pretty good. Movement speed reduced from 50 to 30, and the cooldown increased by 2 seconds, no problem. Magical Journey, he doesn't get free escapes as quite as much. I don't know if people left this on rank 1, which they probably did. They took a point in it and then didn't move it any further, so ultimately during laning phase you're going to have a 4-second longer wait on Magical Journey, right? Cho'Gath, Vorpal Spikes, this seems like nothing. It empowers multiple attacks though, so this is a little bit more damage than it looks like. Fiddlesticks, Reap damage, the same at level 1, scaling up to an additional 20, that's fine. I feel like they enjoy the spot that Fiddlesticks is at right now. He seems like he's not terrible. Gnar, Boulder Toss, Boulder pickup cooldown refund from 60 to 70, that's fine. And Crush, this is his E, the damage is up by 30 at max rank. But I guess 30 at all ranks. Most of the time you're not like, oh boy, I wish I had an ability that did 30 damage. So, it's whatever. And apparently this is only inside of Mega form too, so he's only stronger in Mega. Karthhus, movement speed. People meme about this. They're like, oh, you took 5 movement speed off of Riven, that's nothing. 5 movement speed is a fucking lot, okay? They reduced this guy by 10 movement speed. What are boots of speed? Nope. 25 flat, and they're 300. So, 2/5 of that, 300 divided by 2/5. I do think movement speed is important though, because you don't have to buy boots as early. 10 movement speed is quite a bit. For junglers, especially like your pathing and stuff, it's going to slow them down by a couple seconds, ultimately, right? So, Vlad, Aatrox, Sinzao. I'll play Mal's again. Here's the Kayn buff. Q cooldown decrease bonus damage now applies to minions. So he gets to push waves way faster. W decaying slow increase from 70 to 90, which is really good. Bonus damage against monsters now applies to minions. So, cooldowns decreased by 1 second flat at all ranks. Pretty freaking good. Lissandra Q, cooldown decreased. I feel like Lissandra has mana problems. She's one of the last remaining mana problem champs in the game. So, being able to spam this a little bit more, like when you're in a fight, maybe you get 1 extra off. Like, it scales down to the same number. During laning, I feel like you're just going to go faster. But it lets you shove lane a little bit. Nami, I wish that they would crush all supports' health in the early game by about 50. Because every single support in the game has way too much health, in my opinion. Like, you should get punished and be weak during the laning phase, even if you're a tanky support. Like, having 50 less health actually makes you killable. They reduced your mana, they crunched your health down by 5, and they changed the passive movement speed from 60 to 45. It's whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. She's gonna be basically the same. 5 health is nothing. 12 mana, who cares? Quin. Near sight duration up by 1/4 second, not bad. Quin also gets, there's a item buff to, what's it called? Sanguine Blade. And Quin likes Sanguine Blade. So she got double buffed. One way by actually buffing her, and one by buffing an item that she likes. Trundle, cooldown increased by 20 seconds at rank 1. That's a lot. 20 seconds at all ranks? Holy shit! Boy, that is quite the hit. Okay, they hit Wukong in 3 places. They took away a tiny bit of armor. They made Crushing Blow do 10 less damage at all ranks, which is actually quite a bit. And the clone damage is percentage based, so it's scaling from what it was down by 5%. So probably not a giant change. And as we saw, Wukong remained at about a 53% win rate, so who cares? Sanguine Blade, they didn't buff anything except for giving it a bonus 5 attack damage, and they made it 100 gold cheaper. So it's a faster item now, and it does more damage, no problem.